And then let's look at the aggregate of these testing results from all 5 experiments. Explain to us what you took from that data.
Okay. So this is just kind of a summary of all 5 of those experiments, and you can see for time period A and for time period B and for the different levels of traffic and what that variance looks like. So this is where, this data is where I was able to take this information and then extrapolate that into rules that my organization could use moving forward. So you can see between experiment 2 and experiment 3, really big difference, right? So moving from like a 4 and 5% difference in conversion rate to like a 24 and 14% conversion rate, that was about the breaking point.
And let's look at the testing rules that you all developed, the goal of all this variance testing.
So this was the result of this test. The result for my organization was that we had to test something and have at least 15% of our traffic on each recipe. And if it didn't have it that much, then we knew the results weren't going to be very reliable. And also that the lift needed to be above 4% for us to call a winner. And we needed at least 500 conversions per experience and to run the test for at least 2 weeks. But because we'd done all of this testing, even though those were our rules, sometimes we were even a little bit more conservative than that. So most often we would run our test for 3 weeks if we could.
And Emily, we're in a room full of your peers. We love to see lifts. Let's look at the lift that you guys experienced after going by these testing rules as opposed to kind of that Wild West testing strategy that you guys did.
So this is a great story. The year that we implemented this, we had a 45% increase in conversion rate in our lift from conversion rate from like 1 year versus another. So there were a lot of pieces that were involved in that, a lot of tests, but the testing rules were definitely a part of helping us get to really valid results.
And at all of our summits, we obviously love to give our audiences key takeaways and things that they can take back to their own offices and their teams. Let's look at what you put together here. How can you start to do variance testing within your culture?
Where would you get started? Right. The great news is that variance testing is actually really, really easy. So if you've never done it before, I would recommend it just so you have a baseline. But you might also consider doing variance testing under any of these conditions, which would be if you have really high or low points of traffic throughout the year. If you have seasonality, it would be good to do variance testing in both points, right? So you have different rules for the low versus the high. Also, if you've had any major changes to the structure of your site, that would affect behavior. And if you had any big changes in terms of the traffic coming in. So those are good times to consider doing a variance test.
Basically anything that contributes to that noise that you were talking about.
Exactly.
Right?
Anything that's a big change or that would make your data fuzzier.